Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Today I wanted to mess around with some Pentium 4 stuff, so I brought out these two CPUs just to explain what I want to do here. Now there are many different chipsets you can use for socket 478. Today I want to focus on the 845 chipset. This chipset does have a couple limitations compared to later ones, such as the 865, which will support 800 MHz FSB and DDR400 dual channel and all that kind of stuff, whereas the 845 chipset is sort of just stuck with DDR266 at most, and you can use either 400 or 533 MHz FSB CPUs. And they will only work with up to Northwood CPUs, obviously. Prescott is not supported. But that's fine because I prefer Northwood CPUs anyways. They're a little bit faster than the Prescotts. So I've actually discovered something interesting recently on one of my earliest 845 motherboards. This is an Abit BD7-2 RAID, and when I was messing around with different CPUs, I ended up putting in, I used to have a 533 MHz FSB CPU in there, but then I put in a Celeron which only runs at 400 MHz FSB, and this actually unlocked a different memory multiplier, which is a bit higher, and that got me thinking, if I could just use that higher memory multiplier and then take a 400 MHz FSB CPU, I could do a pretty crazy memory overclock on this system. Could even potentially get close to 400 MHz DDR. Obviously it's only going to be single channel, but that's actually quite a bit of an improvement. So that's sort of the idea today. I'm going to be doing some extreme overclocking in terms of the motherboard. And well, you know, there's this 533 MHz FSB 2.4 GHz Pentium 4. This wouldn't really get me too far, I think, because the FSB is already pretty high. But I actually found this. This is a 2 GHz Pentium 4, 512 kilobytes of cache, just like the bigger brothers. And it's got a 400 MHz FSB. That's interesting. For the longest time, I didn't even know that these exist. But yes, you could get Pentium 4s with the 400 MHz front side bus, and what that gives us is a higher memory multiplier, and these are actually pretty good overclockers. So I think since this is a Northwood core CPU, I think we could easily overclock this system to I mean at least 533 easily. That should be interesting to see, because I mean 533 MHz FSB is easily doable on the motherboard, and that's already 2.66 GHz, and we will get the higher memory overclock, higher memory multiplier with it, so that's awesome. And we can see like just how far beyond can we go with that. I don't want to go too crazy on the CPU, like I don't want to pump a bunch of voltage into it. I just kind of want like a fast but decent stable overclock, and that's my goal. And then this could be a pretty interesting little Windows 98 machine / DOS machine with a lot of horsepower. Alright. I think it looks fine. Okay. I'm not going to touch the memory timings yet, but we'll probably have to max it out eventually. We'll just leave it on SPD before we start overclocking. I think everything should be fine. Okay. And then beep, and then we're in Windows 98. The most modern operating system ever. It's more modern than Windows 11 because it's 98 is more by at least 87, maybe even more. But actually the most modernist operating system is Windows 2000 for sure, because it's like way more than this even. It's a lot. Did we get sound? Oh shit, I forgot to turn off the Ethernet. Oh, whatever. We got the sound. Okay, cool. Right. That CD drive is really loud, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I will be doing some tests first, like run maybe 1 or 2 games and then see what kind of frequencies. Sorry, see what kind of frame rates we're getting in the games, and then we'll just compare it. I'm not gonna do like benchmarking and stuff like that because I don't care. I just want to see like hard evidence, like how much faster is this game running than before. So this is the stock settings, Pentium 4 Northwood, 130, 2 GHz. So I specifically went out and got myself a 400 MHz FSB Pentium 4. I didn't even know that these existed for the longest time, but you can get some weird CPUs that I've never seen before where they'll have a 400 MHz bus. Obviously it's Northwood, it's all Northwood, but it's crazy to me that you can just get like a 2.8 GHz CPU and it will have a 400 MHz FSB, which is like, I thought that's always like 533, but no, there it is. It's a 20 times multiplier. So it's basically like the simplest math you can imagine, because you know, you set it to 100, it's going to be 2000. You set it to 133, it's going to be 2660. So it's like really simple to calculate our frequency just by changing the FSB in the BIOS, and we're probably not going to touch the voltage, at least not yet. Hoping to not have to actually do that at all. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting CPU. This is like one of the slowest. I thought this is the slowest Northwood CPU at 2 GHz. So I wanted to go like as low as possible, because that way we get a lot of headroom for overclocking the CPU and also at the same time overclocking the memory without having to push too much voltage into the CPU. But it looks like actually there's even slower one, because from the seller I bought this, later on I noticed that there's a 1.8 GHz version as well. That's Northwood, so it should have good overclocking. You want to forget about the Willamette CPUs, they're terrible, no overclocking whatsoever. So Northwoods can go up to like 3 GHz, no problem. I'm hoping this will go up to like at least 2.66. I'm already happy with that on stock voltage, but we'll see. So anyways, I guess we could do like this one benchmark just to see like how it, you know, how it does. I'm not sure if I should compare it against anything. I don't think there's anything relevant in here. The fastest one is the Radeon 1 GHz, so yeah. I don't think we'll find anything comparable, but yeah, whatever, let's just do it. So compared to the Radeon, we are a little bit faster. 2100, that's almost like the same as the clock frequency, and then FPU speed is 6700, give or take. Okay, let's play some games. I'm gonna go a round of Porsche, and I will also go a round of Metamaness 2. Those are like good benchmarks, I think. This game, what are you doing? Okay, this game did slow down a little bit, a couple times. I'm just gonna do like a quick race. I want to do as heavy of a load as possible, so we're gonna do 7 opponents. I think the most demanding track is Schwarzwald, so I'll probably go there. That's gonna be, I believe that's the most demanding track in the whole game. And then we're gonna pick, yeah, let's do the 996 Turbo. I like this car a lot. And then, oops, oh no, what's that? Why is this broken? Why is it broken? Schwarzwald, let's go. The most demanding race. We're doing 1024 by 768, and highest detail settings. I believe when I was trying this on the Pentium 3, I was going down to around 24-25 FPS. The 1 GHz one in that one video I made a couple months ago. Let's see how this compares to that. I don't have the replay for it,
3, 2, 1,
so I'm just gonna do some gameplay here. We can like compare the beginning at least. It's like a good comparison because all the cars on the screen and stuff. I think 40 FPS right now. I think this could be way higher. I think the lowest figure I've seen was actually on the first track, Côte d'Azur. I don't know how you pronounce it, sorry. And that one I went down to around 25 FPS. So let me go actually on that track, because that seems to be more demanding, at least at the start of the race. So we'll do the same thing. But actually, I'm gonna pick Côte d'Azur. I don't know. I'm no Côte d'Azur. Côte d'Azur. I don't know. I don't speak French. Anyways, we're gonna pick this same car, and then yeah, settings are good. Let's go here. So we'll see the frame rate's gonna be a bit lower, I think, around the 25 FPS mark at some points. So that's interesting. All right. Okay, yeah, already.
2, 1, go!
I love this game, by the way. This is like my favorite Need for Speed game. So I love testing it any opportunity I get. So yeah, here when we turn this corner right here. Oh, it's running really well. What's going on? Yesterday I did the same thing and it was running at like 25 FPS. Okay, so 40 FPS it is. Never mind. My testing might have been skewed or something. I don't know. That is funny. It got better. You know what? There's something to be said about being in a new year, right? This computer just got faster. Because last year I tested this, it was no good. It was like going down to 25 FPS when all the cars were on the screen in that one corner. All right, well, that's good to know. I was also getting, I believe, around 22 FPS in a very specific spot in Midtown Madness 2. That's another game I want to test. How do you save a replay? I forget how you do that. Is that it? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, the water is still moving. Interesting. Can I change the camera here? Okay, this works. Let's do this one. How do I reset? Okay, there we go. I think I need to reset the camera as well. Okay, here we go. Let's see the frame rate now. So it does seem a little bit lower than before, than during the race. That's interesting. 37, 40, 33, 32. Yeah, and we're down to around, yeah, almost below 30 FPS. So we'll see if a little overclocking can help that at all. So we're gonna do San Francisco. I'm gonna disable cops because they do get annoying, and then let's go. So I'm gonna go to near the Golden Gate Bridge and just sit around and look at the city. So we have everything maxed out. That means draw distance is super high. This is one of the most demanding games ever on Windows 98. I feel like, I mean, already 30 something FPS. This game has ridiculously low system requirements. But if you turn up the settings, oh man, it is demanding. It is very demanding. I don't even know what they were thinking, but even on the fastest machines of the time, it will just not be playable on the max settings. It's kind of like the crisis of its time almost. You have to tone down the draw distance and stuff like that to get a playable frame rate out of this game. It's gonna drive over here. It's gonna get a lot worse than this. You'll see. So it's crazy. Like the only old machine I can play this game on the maximum settings would be my Windows XP PC with the dual core Athlon 64 and a very fast video card. That sort of is fast enough to play this at a solid, always 60 FPS. But a period correct machine, or even just like a couple years newer than the game, will never be able to play this game at, you know, full force. It's interesting. They didn't really hold back in just a super demanding game. It's very complex, so I mean, it's a whole entire city, you know, with all the simulations and stuff going on. Okay, so we're almost there. Usually, I think I went up this hill, or maybe that hill over there. Yeah, you can already see the frame rate tanking a little bit. so here we are. It's going down even further. And I think I stopped around here somewhere. We could stop right here at this intersection maybe. And look at the beautiful city. I mean, the draw distance is very impressive, but frame rate not so much. I mean, this is a very fast PC for the time when this game came out. I mean, I don't think this PC was even out at the time. System requirements is a Pentium 2 266. 266 megahertz. We have a CPU of 2 gigahertz, 2000 megahertz, and it's still, you know, max settings, it's not great. So yeah, we're gonna be booting at 2.66 gigahertz on a 2 gigahertz CPU. Let's see. Or not. Wow, that's bad. Oh my god, it can't even take 2.66? This is definitely a Northwood CPU. It should be able to take 2.66. Maybe we have to actually up the voltage a little bit. That's sad. I was hoping I wouldn't have this problem immediately. Let's try 120. That's a safe bet. I think 120 should work just fine. I'm confused. Wow, like that is so bad. I was able to get better CPU overclocking, memory overclocking when I was still using the Celeron instead of the Pentium 4. That's lame. Ah, that's so bad. That is really bad. Okay, let's give it more voltage and see what happens, I guess. A little bit more voltage. Should boot up. Should. Oh, it does. Okay, so we got 2.5 gigahertz now. 166 megahertz RAM, which is still pretty unsupported. So, I mean, honestly, that's not bad. I was expecting a little bit more, but that could be so much better, though. Ugh. That is super disappointing. Okay, now it's booting up at 2.5, which is 166 megahertz lower than I was hoping for to begin with. I guess I was a little too ambitious with this. Well, let's see the bench results. So we were getting 2090 and 6700, I think. So let's go again. Now at 2.5 gigahertz, we're getting, maybe we'll get a blue screen. 2647 and 8316 too. Yeah, that's a bit better. But yeah, that's a bit disappointing. SPD of the memory. Okay, so this is actually interesting. Oh, this memory actually requires or recommends. Oh yeah, because this supports 400 megahertz, and for that it recommends 25448. I think that's why I picked it, because with this motherboard I can do 25337. Maybe even 447. So, what is it currently? Wait, what? Okay. Let's go. Good de jour. Let's see if we go any faster. Probably not much faster. Yeah, I've been trying to overclock memory, and I have failed miserably because yeah, screw this. This is stupid. Screw the CPU. So that's a fail. I'm not even gonna bother testing anymore. I'm just gonna switch over to the other CPU and then see how well that goes. Alright, and I'm back with a different CPU, this time a 2.4 gigahertz 533 megahertz FSB CPU, and it turns out I'm an idiot because I just realized that you can set 3 to 4 memory ratio even with a 533 megahertz FSB CPU. So I'm an idiot. I bought that CPU for no reason. But that's actually not completely correct, because I did get out of the deal a 2.4 gigahertz Pentium 4 that we have in right now. So it technically wasn't for nothing. because this CPU will allow me to overclock it much better than if I had like a higher frequency one, right? So it's not all bad. Actually, you know, that worked out pretty good. So I'm not a complete moron. Or, well, I'm just a very lucky moron. All right. So, so if I set it to low, it turns out you can actually do 3 to 4. I always had it on high, which only allows you to set, you know, 4 to 3. Or 1 to 1. And by CPU, you can't set 3 to 4 either. And that's what confused me. You need to set it to low, and then you can do 3 to 4. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's amazing. Awesome. Right, so at stock, we only had 847 megabytes per second. That's at the memory. That's the memory running at 266 megahertz, right? So let's do this. So I'm gonna go back here and then set it to 1 to 1, so that the FSB is gonna be the same as the CPU. Sorry, the FSB is gonna be the same as the memory frequency. So that will give us a 266 megahertz memory. Now with that, I will also set it to by SPD, so it will use the most optimal timings, probably the lowest ones. As you can see, it's a 2522. I think that's as low as it gets. Yeah. We could probably even leave it at that, but I'm gonna just leave it on by SPD, so it's like a complete stock experience. This is how it came from the factory. The 2.4 gigahertz Pentium 4 has a 133 megahertz base clock, so you get a 533 FSB, and yeah, let's see what happens. I'm also gonna need to change some settings here. The year has changed. Something's wrong with the battery holder or something. I don't know. It doesn't seem to want to keep the time ever. I wonder, like, what's actually sort of intended, you know, like how far do they intended you to get this? Because if you get a 533 megahertz FSB CPU, apparently you can just set it to 3 to 4, and then, you know, how fast is it really feasible? Now, 845 is only single channel, so it's not going to be, you know, as fast as an 865 motherboard that can do dual channel 400 megahertz, but we can still get, you know, pretty good results. I mean, I remember when I had my Athlon 64 PC, or, well, at first it was Sempron and then I upgraded it to Athlon 64. That was a 754 socket motherboard, and that one actually, it did only use single channel, and it was really fast, so you can get good performance from single channel memory as well. But as, of course, it also depends on the architecture, so maybe it works better with Athlon 64 than it does with Pentium 4. So we get a Pentium 4 Northwood 0.13 technology, and yeah, 2.4 gigahertz, bone stock right now, 512 kilobytes of cache, 8-way. In the Celerons you only get 2-way cache of 128 kilobytes, so that's pretty terrible. And yeah, we get the 2225 clocks. Let's do a quick bench, see what kind of numbers we get. Alright, 3031 for the CPU speed and 7168 for the FPU. Not bad. Let's see. So this is how you pronounce it, apparently.
Côte d'Azur.
Côte d'Azur. Or in Finnish,
Côte d'Azur.
Côte d'Azur. Alright, let's go. Alright.
Côte d'Azur.
Let's go.
3, 2,
Alright.
1, go!
So 2.4 gigahertz, we get 400 extra megahertz of power, plus a faster FSB, and immediately there's a bit of a noticeable difference. We're getting like 40 into the 40s here with the 2 gigahertz. Now we're getting 50s. So this is going to be an insane speed bump. But we're also going to try Midtown Madness, of course, and see how that one compares. Because we were getting 22 FPS in that one spot in San Francisco, so I'm curious to see how it will do with the slightly faster CPU. Hold on, change camera. There we go. So yeah, 40, 40 FPS. We're getting down to like 31 here, 31 FPS. We're going down to 38. This is definitely CPU. You can see that this is CPU limited, obviously. Yeah, we're going down to 31 FPS in that one corner, so it definitely improved it a little bit with the higher frequency. I mean, there's no way in hell we're gonna be CPU limited here, because GPU limited here, because we have a Radeon 9600, which is one of the fastest video cards you can use on Windows 98. So 30, okay, 30. So it's a small boost, but it's a boost nonetheless. So we're gonna just basically change this one setting right here, and now we're at a higher frequency. But we're gonna also need to change the timing to that, and I think we're good. So let's go for it. Let's go for a spin. That is the results. So 3030. That's a bit higher than before, I believe. And then 7139. We're still going down below 40. But yeah, it looks about the same frame rate to me. So we didn't really gain anything. I think this is not really memory limited. So 150 it is. I believe I could not get this far with a Celeron, so I could never test it. But now we can easily get there, because it's like a walk in the park overclock for a 2.4 GHz Pentium 4. This is going to give us a 600 MHz front side bus, which is almost as much as the quad pumped 800 MHz front side bus. So that sounds interesting, but let's see if it even works. This might not even work at all, because there could be like an FSB limitation to the motherboard, which will not allow us to get this, but here goes nothing. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Okay, so we booted at 2.7. Oh no. 2.7 gigahertz. That's pretty good. 150 megahertz FSB, 200 megahertz DRAM frequency. So we are at 400 megahertz now. For real. Okay. Let's see if we can get into Windows, I guess. I don't think we can push it any further, because the memory is like gonna be incapable of it. The only way I can see that is if we go back to the 1-to-1, but then we will never get back to 400 megahertz. So is it worth it? I don't know. There we go. Let's do benchmark. Yeah, that's definitely higher. It was like 400 higher, I think.
2, 1, go!
But I mean, some games have that as a feature, so, you know. Okay, we're not getting quite 60 FPS, but all the cars are on the screen, so that's pretty bad. That's pretty good, honestly. Oops. Yep. I guess this technically makes this PC faster than my Windows ME machine, because the ME has a 2.8 GHz Pentium 4, but it's only running SDR RAM, so that's stuck at 133 megahertz, and that's that. Whereas this one is, you know, already at 400 megahertz. Okay. Oh, we're not even going below 40 actually. Oh shit, yeah, we never went below 40, so it's definitely better. Nice. Okay, yep. Okay, 32. That's a bit better. That is a little bit better, 32 FPS. Okay, nice. I mean, if the lowest you get is 30 something, is pretty good. Okay, so let's go up to... How does GTA 3 run on this? I have to see if it's on my thumb drive. I can try it out. I'm sure it will run pretty good. Let's do one. Okay, how much was it? So 155 is 2.7, 2.8. So I need to set it to 1.152 for that. I think I'm gonna disable. I don't know if I want to disable. I don't know what I don't know what that means. What does that even mean? Enhanced DRAM performance. Like that tells me that that probably is no good, right? Like you probably want it off, I guess. It's so nondescript. I have no idea what that does. I guess I'll turn it off. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I guess that makes it like more flexible in terms of frequency. Maybe if I turn it off, that's what I'm thinking. Whatever. Let's just. Okay, we'll leave it on for now and then see what happens. If it's no good, then I'll try turning it off. So this is gonna be like 2.74 gigahertz, I think, at 400 something megahertz. 404 megahertz memory. Okay. Okay. Like there's this thing here, DRAM idle timer 0 clocks. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what the enhanced thing means, because that's the only one it will show me other than the other ones. So I don't know. Maybe it's like some artificial delay you can turn on. You probably don't want it on then. Yeah, but it didn't actually turn it off. I left it on. So okay, 2.745 and 404 megahertz memory. So yeah, it's not changed yet. I might change it later. Oh, it's a bit faster again. All right, let's boot up this game, I guess. Let's see. 5.4 gigahertz to get 60 FPS at this spot right here. If we can reach the 5.4 gigahertz mark, then there's a chance. Not with this CPU, we won't. But I do have I have the latest Pentium 4 ever made, the Cedar Mill. All right. So I was saying that I would try as a last ditch effort. I want to see if it would do anything if we tried 2.8 gigahertz, which would be an insane memory overclock as well. It'd be about like 410 megahertz. That's what it is right there. 155. So this might not work. In fact, this might be very, very loud if it crashes. So just yeah, you've been warned. So rip ear users if it goes wrong. 2.79 gigahertz, 206 megahertz. So that means it's actually 412 megahertz DDR. I might have to up the voltage a little bit to get it to be stable at this setting. Just up the voltage on the memory. We could also try this setting right here. Don't know what it does. .1 gigabytes per second. It just works. It just works. And some games have problems with newer drivers. Like I have a machine with a GeForce 6200 because I was interested to see how far you can push it in terms of compatibility, and a lot of games don't actually work on it because the driver is too new. It's like 2004, 2005 driver that's already kind of late for some like early 2000s games.
Côte d'Azur.
Côte d'Azur. Still looking pretty good. 40, yeah, 40, still above 40. It's pretty decent. This is very demanding, this scene right here with all these cars around us. Yeah, it's looking really nice. Now here we go. Oh wow. We're getting... Get the fuck out of here. I thought we were getting like 34 earlier. Yeah, at some yeah, 35, 34. Look at that, 35 FPS. Huh. 36. Nice. Nice car, thank you. And we started out with what, 25 FPS? 22 FPS I think was at 2 gigahertz, and then like around 25 at 2.4. Now we're at 34 FPS. Very good. Here we go. Oh, come on, dude. I was gonna yeehaw that and I couldn't. Ah, shit, here we go again. I used to play the demo of this all the time. Oh. Alright, cool. So yeah, you like 50 FPS driver? I can try to unlock it. See what happens if we unlock the frame rate. Off. Oof! Oy, 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 oy. Speedrun material this is. We're zooming. Thank you so much for watching and take care. Yes, Happy New Year everyone.